Y'all, times is getting hard and people are doing anything, okay? This video is for my ladies. Hold on, let me make sure my camera clean. There we go. This video is for my ladies. This video is for women because I want women to be safe out here, okay? Let me start this video off by saying that men are predatory by nature. That is not me saying that all men are predators. That is not me saying that all men ain't. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you need to understand that all men are predatory by nature, the same way that it could be argued that all women are chaotic by nature. But one of two things happen with this natural instinct. You either use it properly or you abuse it. Okay? So keep that in mind. I'm about to tell a story. I'm going to give some tips. I'm going to give some suggestions. And then I'm going to end it with prayer. Okay? Because that's how serious this situation is. Okay. So yesterday, I found myself in a bit of a kerfuffle. Okay? One that I probably would have never even expected to be in at this point in my life. Okay? I'm 34 years old. So as a 34-year-old woman, I like to pride myself in the growth that I have experienced. I've made it out of my 20s. I learned a lot. I'm still learning a lot, but I know a little bit more than I used to know when I was 20. So the rules of the game and the rules of engagement don't really take me by surprise as often as it used to, okay? I see red flags quicker and I see them more clear than I ever have up to this point in my life. But yesterday, I was on my way to work and routinely I will stop and get coffee from somewhere, okay? And, I'm trying to get better about that because in my mind, like, I really would like to just make a cup of coffee at home. I was doing that, but I'm just not a big fan of the coffee pods anymore. I'm not a big fan of the instant coffee or the ground coffee. I would like to find me a good coffee bean, you know what I'm saying, and have me a good coffee experience at the house every morning, but I haven't quite been able to unpack how that looks yet, okay? So I'm still working on that, but in the meantime, what I have decided is that I'll just stop by a gas station, conveniently, and get me about a $2.50 cup of coffee. No more $7 cup of coffee from Starbucks every day because I be tipping them because they be nice, okay? But I can't keep doing that. Like I said, times is hard, things are changing. The grocery bill is, a bill at this point. Like, I'm not talking about grocery bill in a simple matter. I'm talking about grocery bill is a bill. It's as important. You got to budget for it just as hard as you budget for your phone bill and your mortgage these days. Okay, that's just where we at. So, all that to say, I will go get me a cup of coffee from the gas station in the mornings. And here lately, I've been choosing to go to QT because their coffee is pretty good and it's right there on the way to the job. I'm usually out, quick, fast, and in a hurry. So that works for me. So I made that a part of my morning routine. But what's funny about any time something happens out of the ordinary, there was always a seed of doubt that gets planted before anything extraordinary happens in your life. And yesterday morning, because of how cold it was, I'm having a little situation with the heat in my car. I got a little 2014 version of the car I drive. And so the heat in the AC, it turns on when it wants to and don't turn on when it wants to, so I could go a couple of days without having any heat blowing, but eventually it'll kick on. And yesterday morning, it was like 40 something degrees. I'm in Texas. We don't do cold like that. Okay. So 40 degrees is cold. And so I got my heat blowing and I'm saying to myself, I don't want to stop the car because if I turn the car off, it is possible when I get back in here, it ain't going to be blowing. So I was going to go to Starbucks, but I was reluctant to spend that $6-7 for a cup of coffee. So I made a quick decision at the light, and I was like, I'm just going to go ahead and go to QT. If the heat go off, that's fine. It'll be on whenever it come back on. But I'm not really trying to pay no high price for no cup of coffee. So I go to QT, get out the car, and for whatever reason, okay, I make eye contact with this man who's sitting in a Lexus, I believe what it was. Might have been a Benz. I don't remember. No, it was a Benz. It was a Benz. He's sitting in a Benz. And I didn't even notice that it was a Benz in the beginning. I would notice what type of car he was driving later. That's probably why the details are so fuzzy in the moment right now. But yes, it was a Benz. But for whatever reason, in the nature of something being out of the ordinary, I make contact with this man, and we hold eye contact for longer than what I feel like is average when you make eye contact with a stranger at a gas station. Okay. Now I had a later shift yesterday, so it's probably about like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe closer to 2. I don't really remember, but it's later in the afternoon or whatever, and it's still pretty cold. Okay. So once I noticed that he's not like cutting the eye contact and he's still looking at me, I kind of smile at him, just in niceness and kindness. And I keep on walking about my business. There's a Hispanic guy coming in behind me, so I hold the door open for him, and then I go to get my coffee. Now, for whatever reason, okay, now I know what it was. It was the Lord. It was the good Lord. It was Jesus Christ. I had a feeling that this man was about to walk into this store, because the way he was sitting in the car, I couldn't tell if he was leaving, like if he had gotten his car and he was about to leave, or if he had just pulled in. But because I had just pulled in, y'all know how big QT's parking lot is, I was all the way down, kind of, maybe I would say about like maybe 4 or 5 cars down from him. But I do recall not seeing this car pull up within the time frame that I parked, nor did I see the car pull up like while I was walking. So that means he was sitting there, and when I walked past him, I do vaguely remember the detail that his car was running. So he was sitting in a running car. In my mind, I'm thinking to myself, this man is about to walk in this store. But I'm hoping that he was sitting in that car getting ready to pull off. Nonetheless, I'm getting my coffee. He walks through the door. When he walks through the door, he talks to the cashier that's at the register at the time. Now, I have to describe the young lady that was at the register because it's important to me, okay? Beautiful young lady. Looked like she was maybe in her early 20s. Beautiful head of hair. Beautiful skin complexion. I mean, just chipper, beautiful, just a light, vibrant young lady, okay? So he stops and he speaks to her for what I would perceive as too long for a salutation with the cashier at the QT, okay? Like, even when a person come in and speak to the cashier, it's usually like a hello, goodbye type of situation, or like a hey, how you doing? And they keep it moving. But while I'm kind of intuitively picking up on this in my peripheral, I'm already over at the coffee station getting my coffee, and I'm trying not to make eye contact with this man because I'm knowing he about to walk his ass over here. Lo and behold, he bring his ass over there. So I try to hightail it. I try to hitch it fast over to like the little self-serve area and put my little creamer and my sugar in the coffee. This is where suggestion and tip number 1 comes in. Ladies, if something doesn't appear to be safe or routine, go ahead and take the courtesy of not completing your routine, okay? Anything could have been done in this situation. I could have went ahead and got the coffee and then maybe stopped somewhere else and got some creamer, or, just drunk the coffee straight black that day. Whatever the situation might have been, if I could go back in hindsight and direct myself, I would not have stopped and got the creamer and the sugar, because everything that I felt like this man was about to do from the moment that I walked into the store up until I was at the point getting my creamer and my sugar, he did it. He comes over there and he starts up a conversation. I knew it was about to go in that direction, but I've talked to plenty of people over there at that self-serve station, because again, this is a part of my routine. I go and get my coffee on a regular basis. So I'm treating it like any other simple civilian interaction with another human being. Hey, how you doing? Oh, it's cold outside. How's the weather? Oh, where do you work? What do you do? But just real simple small talk. But he would not stop talking to me. Now, I have had a similar situation happen with some old man at Walmart about 3-4 months ago, and that situation ended up turning into a really uncomfortable situation, so much so that I had to basically let that man know, look, if you want your nuts, back up off me, cuz. Get your ass up off me. I was trying to do this video without cussing, but move your motherfucking ass back, cuz nah, I don't play that shit, and I got mace in my purse. If you want your retina, nigga, act like it. So, nonetheless, we get to talking, and I'm trying to end the conversation, but I'm not able to really end the conversation the way that I would like to end. I keep taking the conversation to the point of it's over. He keeps on kind of overstepping that boundary. Now, I have to make this point clear if I haven't made it clear already. He's an older guy. I would say that he's maybe like 50, maybe 60, because I do believe I saw a bald mouth. I do believe I saw nothing but gums. Nothing, not nothing but gums, nothing but gums. I believe he was bald mouth in that QT, because while we were talking at some point, he asked me if his breath stank. Now listen, if you got to ask somebody if your breath stank, you don't need to be up in nobody's face as much as you up in mine. But, I am getting over a little cold. I had a little cold last week, so maybe some of the remnants of the stuffiness didn't allow me to smell his breath, because I truly didn't smell anything when he had asked me. But by the time he asked me this, we've been talking. If I had to give it a time frame, we've been talking for maybe close to 5 minutes, maybe a little bit more. And I'm noticing that the conversation is about to start veering into the spot or the place of the conversation where I don't want it to go. He's about to start trying to figure out if he can get my number. He about to start asking in my personal business, if I got a man, etc., etc. And lo and behold, like I said earlier, I done clocked it already. Here it comes. He asked me about my relationship, and so I tell him whatever the fuck comes to my mind as quick as possible in an attempt to try to let him know I am not available, okay? I thought that would work. It did not work. He went on to tell me that I deserve to have a secret, okay? And so I let him know I'm not interested in no secrets. I ain't trying to do none of that. I got my nigga. Well, so, just like a man will do, well, why he ain't this and why he ain't that, this, that, and the other. So I'm constantly trying to duck around and dodge the situation as best as I can, but I'm not being very successful. At this point, I start to realize I am out of control in this situation. I am no longer in control. He knows clearly that I am trying to end this conversation, but he is not allowing me to end this conversation, which means I am at the mercy of whatever it is that this man is doing. Because if he really had the decency of a man, especially an older man, he would not be sitting here holding up my time, seeing that I'm on my way to work. It's obvious that I'm on my way to work because everything that I got on is the indicator of work clothes. So I eventually say, Jazz, for your safety, go ahead and just go with the flow. Don't be quick to move. Don't do nothing crazy. Just go with the flow. Because any woman who has ever been in this situation knows that if a man is on a mission to do whatever it is that he's trying to do, whether it's take you on a date, get your phone number, and I hate to say it, but it has to be said in this situation because, like I said, there's a lot of sketchy stuff going on these days. If a man is trying to do something in terms of like illegal activity, get you a part of that, STing, he is going to complete his goal. Why? Because it goes back to what I said at the beginning of the video. Naturally, men are predatory. And when men are on a mission to get something, they will use their ability to be predators in order to get that thing done. So I'm doing my best to try to dodge this man. Nobody in QT is coming over here trying to see, hey man, are you okay? Do you need anything? Like if I was on the floor, because I have worked in retail, I have worked in restaurants, I have worked at grocery stores. rule 101. It's an unspoken rule, but it's still rule 101. If you see a woman in a weird situation in public, if you work there, go ahead and step in. Hey, ma'am, did you need anything? Did you find everything okay? This, that, and the other. Now, I can't really expect for the people at QT to do this because this is a convenience store. It's in and out. So maybe this type of activity don't look suspicious because people probably see people that they know and that they recognize at the corner store quite frequently. But nobody's coming around to try to like kind of interfere with whatever he's got going on. And I'm hoping that they would, but it never happens. But the situation throws me an alley-oop. Somebody walks into the gas station and it's another black man. He's like a taller black man. And he sees this man and he completely takes his attention off of me. Here's red flag number 1. Like, there's a lot of red flags up to this point. Him crossing boundaries and all that stuff. Telling me I need a secret in my relationship and all that stuff like that. Mind you, I'm not in a relationship, but, here's the narrative that I'm giving him. And he probably knows that I'm not in a relationship, right? But if he was as dedicated to whatever it was he was trying to achieve with me, then he wouldn't have went over there and dapped that man up. But the way that he went over there and dapped that man up, it was a familiarity, because there had been plenty of black men that had walked in and out that door in the time that me and this man is exchanging this interaction, and he didn't go over there and talk to them men. Put your thinking cap on. This is somebody he know. This is somebody that he knows, and they probably frequent this location doing the exact same stuff he doing right here with me. But I see that, and I take this as my opportunity. Jazz, get your ass to this cash register, get your coffee, leave. Move fast, move expeditiously. That's what I'm doing. No soon as I get to the door, here his ass come. And I'm like, okay, just keep it cool. Keep going with the flow. Don't worry about it. So, by this time, we're still kind of talking. And here is something that I really want to work on. I want to work on understanding that as a kind woman, I don't have to extend my kindness in situations where I feel uncomfortable. It's hard to turn it off, especially if you're that type of person. But at some point, there has to be a training within myself that says, shut this shit down, right? I just feel like the niceness and the kindness and stuff went on way too long, because he made a comment that said something where he said something along the lines of, well, I just saw you being so nice and so kind, and so I just want to get to know you better. He started asking me about my schedule and all kinds of stuff. So finally, I'm like, okay, at this point, the only way I'm going to get out the situation is if I get this nigga my number. It's coming. So I just go ahead and say, here, let me give you my number, because I got to go to work. The fuck? Sorry, I didn't go cousin. I gotta go to work. I'm on my way to work. Everything about this interaction would let this man know I'm on my way to work, but he don't give a damn. First of all, even if this man was interested in something serious, he's already shown me that he is not a safe man by telling me to put my fake relationship in jeopardy, by not letting me go to work and continuing to cross boundaries after I have told him explicitly I'm not interested in whatever it is he got going on. There was even a point where I stuck my fist out and let him give me a fist bump, because I'm trying to make myself as unattractive as possible. I'm trying to bro the situation up as much as possible, because I'm trying to get out of the situation. 1, because I don't want to talk to you, and 2, because I got to go to work. So he pulls his phone out. We kind of still wrapping up conversation or whatever the situation is. I pat myself down, because when I tell him, let me give him my number, he does the okie doke that niggas normally do. Nah, let me go ahead and put my number in your phone so he can confirm that the number that he has is attached to me. But by the grace of the Lord, here come tip number 2, ladies. I left my phone in the car. It was intentional. Ladies, if you're in a situation where you got to get yourself in and out, don't have your phone on you. The reason being is because this situation taught me that by me not having my phone on me, the favor was on my side. Now, usually I leave my phone in the car because I don't like for my Bluetooth to disconnect while I'm in the store, because I don't like to have to reconnect it when I get back in the car. So I usually will leave my phone in the car, like lock it up, like in the glove compartment or something to that extent. I knew that was going to happen. Lock it up or something to that extent, because when I get back in the car, I just want to crank up and, you know, go or whatever. I usually will even let my podcast or my music keep playing, so that, you know, whatever it is ain't interrupted. So I'm thinking to myself, oh, this is perfect, because I ain't got my phone on me. So he don't know what number I'm about to give him. He don't know if I even got this phone. He don't know what this number is attached to. But the other part of it as well is that when he called my number, because you know they're gonna call and check your number, or at least they're gonna call and check the number that you gave to him. My phone was also on Do Not Disturb. So he had no way to confirm whether or not that phone number was mine. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, great. We have at least got to a point where I can begin to walk to my car and get myself ready for work. So he like, don't block me, this, that, and the other, so on and so forth. I'm like, I'm not going to block you. I'm not going to block you. I'm like, you know, I'm going to text you when I get to work, this, that, and the other, so on and so forth. So I get to work. I didn't even hesitate not to text that nigga, okay? But here's where things get a little bit funky and a little bit dangerous. Oh, let me go back. Ladies, if you're in a situation, like I said, tip and suggestion number 2, leave your phone in the car and turn that bitch on Do Not Disturb for your own peace of mind and your own safety. Turn that bitch on Do Not Disturb. Okay. Another thing as well that I want to point out is the fact that it might be in your benefit to have a homie, whether it's a female or a male, have somebody's number that you know by heart. And just let them know, like, hey, if I'm ever in a sticky situation, such as one of these situations, where a man is just persistent in getting information from you that he does not deserve to have, because plenty of women end up in these situations. There's so many Reddit threads and things where women said, hey, I was pressured to give a guy my number even though I didn't want to, because if I didn't, he was not going to leave me alone. So tip number 3, suggestion number 3, find somebody's phone number. I don't care who it is. If it's your mama, your daddy, a good homie, if it's your boyfriend, whatever, that would probably be great. Ladies, if you have a boyfriend, give that nigga your nigga's number, okay? Give that nigga your nigga's number. Because if he want to do some calling, he can talk to Big Papa, okay? But, the reason why I say that is because even, or get you a burner phone or something, like get you something and memorize another number other than your own, because there's just a natural flow in the way of you knowing your phone number. And I guarantee you, nobody believes, if you say something to the extent of, oh, I don't know my phone number, nobody believes that. So just have some type of backup number. Even if you just download you a little, what's it called, them Google Connects or Google Contact, get you something so you can just get a nigga your phone number and get a nigga up at your face. But also keep it funky with yourself and make sure you ain't got your phone on you. Oh, shit, I left my phone in the car, bro. So on and so forth. Whatever you need to do. I might have left my phone at home. I didn't even realize I did it. But do not have your phone on you. And if you can control it enough, put that bitch on Do Not Disturb. Let me stop cussing. Okay, so let me hurry up because I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go home and lay down. So no less than maybe like 2 hours after all of this happened, he texts me. So I text him back, right? Because by now, and here's what's dangerous, he's hijacked my emotions so much by all the things he was saying, the interaction, the extended attention, that now my emotions are clouding my judgment. And I'm actually thinking to myself, I'm finna give bald mouth, bad breath a chance. Okay, I'm gonna give him a chance, not because I actually wanted to, but because by now my emotions are so heightened. Remember, I'm gonna say it a few times in this video, men are predatory by nature. He knew what he was doing. And so I started thinking to myself, well, you know what, Jazz, maybe he's not so bad. Maybe he's just having fun. Maybe he's just an old man out here trying to, live his life and live his best life. Because he told me, he was like, we can just be friends. But he also told me that he needed to save my number in a certain way because he in a situation that he needs to shake and he needs to set me up. So when I call, I'm like, nigga, you trying to save my number in your phone as Pizza Hut? Is that what's going on? So I'm at this point saying to myself, am I being too hard? Is this the reason why I'm single? Because I don't get nobody no chance? Do I be making up red flags when they really not red flags? Dangerous. This is dangerous, y'all. This is dangerous. Well, I text him back some little generic message, and I'm like, okay, you're welcome, or whatever the situation is. And so I tell him I'm going to save his number. Now, I'm going to be honest. In this moment, me telling him that I was going to save his number had more to do with me thinking to myself, let me just keep the narrative going. I'm pretty much back and forth between logic and emotions at this point. Because the emotions is what's having me texting back, because I really could have just ignored his ass. But the logic is telling me keep the narrative going for your own safety, because I don't really know what this nigga is on. So, what was I saying? Yeah. So he texted back and was like, whatever he said, I can't remember what he said. And then we never exchanged text messages back and forth for the rest of the day. And in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, well, if this is an older man, then, you know, if he's truly mature, then I'll know within the next couple of days. You know, typically, here's another tip and suggestion to point out for young ladies or ladies in general. Mature men are more concerned with value than they are about like things like consistency. What do I mean by that, right? He may not text you for a couple of days. So don't think of it as, oh, if he was really interested, he would have texted me. No. What I have learned at 34 is that the men, get your motherfucking ass out of here. Sick of these damn stray cats and shit. This is fucking ridiculous. I have come to realize that the men who are more mature, they tend to give you space and give you time, and they value having your time when it's a luxury for you to have time, not when it's convenient, or not consistently bugging you down and blowing you down by text message and calling and good morning beautifuls and stuff like that, because they know those things don't really mean anything. They also have jobs and they have work and they have priorities, so they need time to rest and relax, and they would rather give you themselves when they're at their best selves. So if you ever get around a man that's mature, it's going to kind of force you into being mature, because you're going to realize I like it better when we are together at a time where we are the most optimal. So we don't need to talk every day. We don't need to talk back to back. We don't need to talk all day. We don't need to be bugaboos to one another. We don't need to create this codependency. All we need to do is do our routines, stay healthy. So when we see each other at our optimal selves. We're at our best selves, and so we get the best out of each other, and we get the best out of whatever it is we're trying to build when we are at our best selves. But no. Like I said, I knew that depending on how he act within the next maybe 48 to 72 hours is going to let me know what this nigga really on and what this nigga is about. 8 o'clock this morning, this nigga called me and texted me as soon as I didn't answer. But see, my phone was still on Do Not Disturb, because it usually stays on Do Not Disturb. So this ends up working in my advantage, because I didn't pick up the phone and answer the phone for him. It's not like I was going to, but I didn't pick up the phone and answer the phone for him. Because if he would have confirmed that it was me, baby, he would have been bugaboo. But I immediately blocked his number, because that let me know, nigga, it's a lot of shit about this situation that lets me know you ain't about a thing. Because number one, you riding around, cruising around. You got time to waste at the gas station at almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That binge you in, here's another red flag, and pay attention to things like this as well, ladies. That Benz he was in was a crossover SUV. That's a woman's car. Even when he opened the door, the interior looked like something that a woman would choose. That wasn't his car. Rarely ever do you see a man driving, especially if it's like a luxury vehicle. He usually is some type of coupe or sedan or something that's more low to the ground, got a little bit more need for speed, to it, got a little more chiseling in the body. Ain't no man going to no Benz choosing no crossover. Now, to the men who do the crossover SUVs, and to the men who do, that's your taste, that's your prerogative. But rarely do you see men Rarely do you see men in these crossover type of SUVs and luxury cars. So that let me know right then and there, when I actually stopped and stepped back and thought about it, he's in some woman's car. Probably this woman he talking about he need to get rid of. Girl, I tell you anything. Because he told me I could be his secret. No, I can't. No, I can't. On top of that, you calling me out. Bro, I ain't even been out of your presence for 24 hours. And the first thing you do before you brush your teeth, before you wash your nuts, before you pick the crust out your eye, you calling and texting me. You don't know what I got going on. The information that I gave to you let you know two things. I got a job and I got a nigga. So the fact that you don't even care about the fact that you're trying to be a secret, you don't know if my nigga around me, you don't know what I'm doing at 8 o'clock in the morning, but that's the first thing you make sure you do. You gotta go. You got to go. And it's me telling women to be safe, because even if this was him just trying to get some tail, if this was him, just trying to stroke his ego, trying to see if he still got it, if he was just trying to, waste my time, or even if he had other more serious or more dangerous things in mind for me, because here's the thing, this is why I say this, because as soon as I walked away from him, another black lady was walking into QT, and I mean he immediately put all his attention on her. It was giving pimp. That's what it was giving, okay? But nonetheless, I basically realized at this point that, like, it is so important for me to remind young women to be careful, okay? Because what he basically picked up from me was that my guard was down and my vulnerability was high. Not because of any other reason other than the fact that I'm so used to going to this gas station that I'm so comfortable and so safe with the layout of whatever this gas station has to offer. If I would have went to a different gas station that morning, I probably wouldn't have made eye contact with that man. We probably wouldn't even have gone on that long in conversation. My familiarity with the location is what made my vulnerability higher and what made my guard lower, because I don't come here and these type of things don't normally happen when I come here. The types of interactions that happen when I come here are the type of interactions that's quick, small talk, and surface level. Do I engage with strangers at the gas station while I'm getting my coffee? Yeah, because most people make small talk. Like, if you're just an extroverted type of person, you're gonna make some small talk with somebody. That's just your personality. So the small talk probably would have stayed as small talk if it was a location that I don't normally go to. But there was so much vulnerability, and I was so open for this predatoration. That's not a word, but I was so open to his predatory behavior that he executed it to try to achieve whatever it was that he was trying to achieve. And I know a lot of people don't like to bring gender and stuff into situations, but biologically, in comparison to men, we are less predatory in comparison to men. Meaning that if a man is persistent, or if a man is putting a pressure or a weight on a situation, we naturally submit. We naturally go into a prey mode, because that's just, for whatever reason, how the biology is set up when men interact with women, and when men interact with women that they are trying to extract something from. So, I will say this. If you haven't, go listen to Reese's Teaser story. Let that be an indicator that men that show up to you in ways that would make you think like, oh, it could be something. I could just be being hard. Trust your intuition and trust what you're getting off the situation, because it usually be the opposite of what you think. Your intuition is telling you exactly what it is. Your emotions and stuff be trying to make you do something different. And if a man is smart enough and he's old enough and he's abused his predatory nature enough, then he will prey on you for whatever reason. You ain't got to be cute. You ain't got to be fine. You ain't got to have nothing like that going on. A man could see something as far as your kindness, you being nice, you being sweet, you being sincere, and letting that be enough for him to want to have you in some type of distance so he can access something from you. Because men who like women, they just like women. They like women. It ain't about the looks all the time. And if you focus on that solely, you might be led to believe that, oh, well, he thinks I'm cute, or he's really interested in this, is that, and the other, to a certain extent. But for the most part, people are just out here trying to make things work. They're trying to make things stretch. They're trying to rub pennies together. They're trying to do everything. People are not thinking in their right mind these days. The drugs is on 10. They own them everywhere they go. I'm telling you, ladies, be safe, because even in a situation like this, where I consider myself to be a pretty smart woman with some pretty strong critical thinking skills, this man prolonged our interaction long enough to where at some point I even thought about second guessing myself and giving his desires a priority over my own intuition, over my own desire to be safe, over my own desire to not deal with this man, because I never wanted to deal with him in the first place. And so for the last 24 to 48 hours, this man's energy has been existing in my world, up to this point where I'm still talking about it to this day, because he was up to no good. For whatever he was trying to accomplish, it did not have pure motives that were aligned with keeping me safe as a woman. So I just want to share that he is out of the picture. As far as I'm concerned, if he caught himself moving around trying to figure out if this is my number, text me from another number or something, I don't think he will, because it's not that deep or it's not that serious. But that number will get blocked, or I will take the initiative to dummy my response and be somebody else to let him know, wrong number, wrong bitch, bro. Like, I don't like that type of energy around me. I don't like that type of energy following me. Like, and here's the thing, and this is why I say, ladies, be safe, because we already have a lot that we have to do, especially if you're a woman out here working, trying to take care of yourself, whatever the situation is. You're already vulnerable because you're single. And I do believe that men can tell if you're single, especially if you ain't got a ring on, right? But the other piece of it is that these type of interactions, whether you're putting your full attention on it or not, it can really disassemble you. It can really unnerve you in a way that's not necessary. All day long, I was so unnerved because the entire time I'm thinking to myself, this man really violated my boundaries, my personal boundaries. He don't have to know me personally to violate my boundaries. He was just in violation because he would not let the interaction go, and then he prolonged the interaction and was on my phone at 8 o'clock in the morning. Like, as soon as I wake up and open my eyes, I'm trying to say my prayers and get ready to go to work. I do not want to see some stranger's number on my phone, in my call log, and in my text messages first thing in the morning. Especially if it's a situation where I'm trying to get rid of you. I didn't give you my number because I was interested. I gave you my number because I was trying to end the situation. And so now my morning has been completely disheveled. And that's not fair to me. And so you have to be cautious, because there's so many different factors. If you are a young lady who's a little bit more vulnerable and you pretty and all kinds of stuff like that, and he really do got an agenda to be out here STing women, you'd be a target. Just be safe. You can't trust these men, a lot of these men nowadays, especially men who out at 2 in the afternoon driving crossover Benzes that probably belong to their woman that they saying they need to get rid of, and they ain't got no teeth in their mouth, and they asking you if they breath stink. Them is the type of niggas you need to stay away from. Them is the type of niggas you need to keep your peripherals and your 20/20 vision laser focused on, because they are up to no good. And you don't even have to be expecting it. You don't have to be in an area that you think would produce an interaction like this. You don't have to have any of that stuff going on for random series of events where predatory men are just out being predators. You don't have to have nothing going on for this to happen in your life. And because sometimes I think as women, we romanticize the unordinary or the extraordinary things. We take this as, oh, was this a sign from God? Or was this a situation I need to lean into a little bit more? It says, no. Because I even had some old woman, I talked to her, not old woman, but some older woman at work. She was like, yeah, go for it. Girl, what? So since there's also evidence, based off of what I just said, that there are quacks in the world that call themselves older women that should be giving us this type of game, and they ain't got the 2 brain cells that God gave us as women to rub together to make better decisions for our own safety. Let me be one of the ones out here that is the inverse of that, to let you know everything about that situation that presented itself as a red flag was indeed a red flag. And it is okay to stand your ground and say, I'm not going to have this. Take the tips and pointers that I gave. Leave your phone in the car. Turn it on Do Not Disturb if you're out in public. Remember another number that you can give to him. If you got somebody that's a little bit more safe, that might be better, because if they receive the call, now you got somebody else who got this information from this weirdo. And that can be really, really important to your safety. But more than anything, please be safe. And know this video wasn't going to turn into some story time of some weird stuff that happened in the end, because that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to prevent that. I decided to tell this story because what I'm saying is, for a woman like me who is usually pretty spot on with my critical thinking, I ended up in a very vulnerable situation that I am still trying to navigate through and be like, dang, man, like, this really happened. Like, no, it wasn't anything tragic. It didn't end tragically because we don't want it to end tragically. But dang, like, even a woman like me who prides myself on, I won't say prides myself, but who credits myself on having some pretty sharp critical thinking skills, he was able to talk to me and interact with me in a way that at some point in all of this had me in a place where my critical thinking was lower than my emotional desire as a woman. And he definitely triggered that. He definitely tapped on that emotional response. And though he didn't get it right there in the moment, it happened at some point. And that's all it takes for a man to get you all wired up and twisted up and thinking this is special and some gift from God, and the next thing you know, he love bombing you and gaslighting you, and you in some kind of crazy situation. You didn't introduce some type of energy in your life that don't deserve to be there. Just be safe and be careful. Okay? All right.